all, I'm Stephanie Cronin. I'm the Executive Director of the Middlesex 3 Coalition. I'm going to ask George, can you hear me back there? Okay, tell me if I'm going too fast. So, first of all, thank you all for coming this morning. First, big round of applause for Northern Bank for all their work for hosting us. You guys have been fabulous. I know you have a lot of people working out back too, so thank you for all your help and for hosting us today. Thank you to our sponsors as well, including Market Square Architects, Transaction Associates, and Hub International. We'll hear a little bit from some of them later as well too, so thank you. Yes, it's too loud. And also, thank you. We've got a couple of exhibitors in the back as well too. If you haven't had a chance to stop by and see who's exhibiting, take a chance afterwards, after the meeting, and meet some new people. That's what today's all about. I always say, we have about an hour. We're going to meet a lot of people. You're not going to know everything that's going on in Woburn after everyone's speaking, but you're going to meet a lot of people, and hopefully that'll lead to conversations, coffee meetings, and then deals, and you build a new relationship, and that's really what we're after today, is building some more relationships, creating community, and that's what the Middlesex 3 Coalition is all about, is creating this community, bringing the public, private sector together. I know I've got a couple of municipalities here as well too, and I love it when I have a What's Happening in Woburn meeting, but I also have Bedford here. Thank you, my new president, Matt Hanson, is here. I know Chelmsford is here. I saw Burlington. Who am I missing? So thank you all for coming today. Thank you to my team. You probably have met a few of them earlier, but this event wouldn't happen without them. So if you haven't met them, please, after the meeting would be a great time to connect. And we have a number of different events. If you haven't connected with us, please connect with us on social media, get our emails. We have a lot of things going on, and part of what we're trying to do with our weekly newsletter is really just promote the great things that are happening in the region. And so there's a lot of great things happening here, and that's part of what today is all about. So with that, again, thank you for coming. We've got a lot of speakers as well too. I want to introduce first Northern Bank, since they're hosting us as well too, and Bina Torresnia. Good. Okay, thank you, Vina, for hosting us. Thank you to your team. I know we've got a number of people from Northern Bank as well too. Where's Meg? Meg's been fabulous. You guys have all been fabulous. But Vina, come on up here, please. Do a little bit of an introduction. Yes.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It is a wonderful sight to witness. Such a strong gathering of leaders, innovators, professionals. We got community partners, local stakeholders, we've got the mayor. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Vina Tarosian, and it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you on behalf of all of the bank to our Innovate Arena. So I took a moment and made the title of this event into a question. What's happening in Woburn? And in order to come naturally to that answer, I had to reflect on the history of the economic build-out in Woburn. And so it had always been based on businesses, local and regional, that have had resilience, entrepreneurial spirit, and innovators, and evolved into what the space is today. So, in just looking at this from large businesses and area, regional things that have come along, we had established businesses that have helped shape the local economy, emerging industries driving innovation today, as well as the greater Middlesex region being a strong contributor to the Commonwealth's economy. So now let's bring the title to the event today, What's Happening in Woburn. We have remarkable momentum and investment in technology, workforce development, real estate development, and regional partnerships and meaningful opportunities. And speaking of regional partnerships and opportunities, the Middlesex Coalition does a great job in bringing all of this together, being a connector, offering resources, and just being there for fostering dialogue. Our bank, Northern Bank, is and has been a strong participant in all of this as well, a contributor to the local and regional economy. And we are a regional bank with a national reach. We are founded by the strong principles of entrepreneurial spirit. We have a great network of being partner for growth, and we are an innovator ourselves and work with collaborating with innovators. Our values are based on client relationships, white glove service, as well as building a reputation to be the best commercial bank here and into the future. With that, I can't thank Stephanie enough for being here for us, and I want to extend a big thank you to my colleagues in Northern Bank. This wouldn't have been possible without the support of the team members from cash management, marketing, retail, IT. So there's a lot of logistics that goes around to put this event together, but we are proud to have you in our house. So enjoy yourselves, and let's hear about what's happening in Woburn. Thank you.
So with that, I do want to also thank the city of Woburn. First of all, you guys provided a lot of extra seats for us, so thank you to your DPW department. And thank you for hiring Casey as well, too. She's fabulous. But we have the mayor here, Mayor Kokena. Thank you very much for coming. Come on up. I would like to have you do opening remarks.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Woburn. We're glad you're here. I am Mayor Mike Concanon. I've been the mayor for about 2.5 years now. Best job I've ever had. Quickest 2.5 years of my life. We're very proud to have you here in Woburn to see what's happening in Woburn. I want to thank the Middlesex 3 Coalition for all that you do in the region. We're so proud to be partners with you. I also want to thank Northern Bank for hosting. They are a great community partner. They're always willing to step up and assist in any number of ways. They're a strong community-based organization, and we're so happy they made Woburn home, so thank you. I also want to let you know that we've got our whole team here today. We've got members of the City Council, President Toro, Councilor Dillon, Councilor DeMambro. We've got our planning department, Director Cashel, Casey Haggerty, Matt Littleton's here. We've got the reason we're here, the reason all of us are here is to send a strong message that we're ready. We're ready to take the next step. Woburn is blessed with our geography. Obviously, the intersection 95 and 93 puts us in a great spot, literally. But we're also on the verge of the next big thing in the region. We've got the new Boston Street Bridge about to open. We've got ongoing development in the area. We've got potential additional growth coming by way of redevelopment of the Anderson Regional Transportation Center. So we are literally on the edge of the next big thing, and we would love for you to join us. Those of you who are already here, thank you. Please consider expanding your home base. And those of you who are in the area and maybe looking for some new space or the opportunity to expand your operation, please check out Woburn. We've got a lot going on across the city. You know, what's happening in Woburn? A wicked lot is happening in Woburn, and more is about to happen. We've got a renewed focus on our downtown area, and we've also got this heightened hyper focus up here in the new Boston Street area. And again, we would love to have you join us. So thank you again for being here. Thank you to Northern and to Middlesex 3. And again, welcome to Woburn. If there's anything we can do to make it easier to operate here, please reach out and let us know. We want to work with you. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Casey Haggerty, who is our Economic Development Manager. She is a rock star, and I've said before in groups like this, hands off. She's staying in Woburn. We're keeping her. Thank you. Casey.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Middlesex 3, Northern Bank, Mayor Concannon. We're excited to have you all here in Woburn. I think this is the first membership-wide event that we've hosted here in the city, so we're really excited to finally have this opportunity after we joined about 4 years ago. So I know it's a little early in the morning for pub trivia, so we'll keep it City Hall appropriate, and we're going to do some Tanner trivia to break the ice here. And it wouldn't be trivia without some prizes. So, you have the opportunity to win a locally sourced Woburn flag. I need a van of light to help me out here. We have a limited edition Woburn 250th challenge coin. Oh, here it comes. And a not yet autographed, but chance to be autographed Mayor Michael Concannon coffee cup. So let's put our, just 3 prizes, but maybe we'll give them. So our first question, does Woburn have more residents or people that work within the city? People, you say, Melissa? People working, yes, you're right. So yeah, so we have about 42,000 residents in the city, and we have over 44,000 people that work in the city every day. And that's a really strong indicator that our economy is doing well. The general rule of thumb in economic development is you want to strike a smart balance between residents and employees. And this is a reflection that we have both opportunities for job employment within the city, and we also have enough commercial tax base to support our quality of life. So, going off of that, how many businesses are located within Woburn? Any guesses? 2,000. 2,000, 18,000, 3,000, 1,800? So we're just about 3,800, so we'll award you the prize. And the scope of our businesses ranges greatly. We have small downtown businesses, we have retail, we have restaurants, major employment centers, manufacturing, industrial uses. So we really have a variety of businesses. And our last question, what percentage of Woburn's land is zoned as commercial? 35, 60, 65. No, we're 28%. And so you can see how we compare to our neighbors. We have Burlington a bit higher than us at 44, but about a third of our land is zoned as commercial. And a bonus question, of that 28%, how much of our tax base does that commercial property make up?
60.
75. No, I haven't heard it yet. 50. We're right about 50. It's that on the slide for that. It's about 48%. So we have less than a third of our, land in Woburn, comprising of nearly half of our tax base. So I think that really drives home the point of why we're so aggressive with economic development and why we appreciate our businesses so much. We've really come to, rely on that commercial tax base. So given all those facts, why do businesses choose Woburn? The mayor alluded to it, but, location, location, location. We have, immediate access to 2 major highways. We have the Regional Transit Center, we're close to Greater Boston, we're close to the, our comparable towns nearby. But location doesn't tell the whole story. I think, we alluded to the variety of our businesses, but it's the variety of our business districts. We have a space for everyone. We have downtown for small business, we have mixed-use properties, we have industrial properties, flex properties. We really have space from incubator up to major employer, and we have space for people to scale up. And the city has also made a really poignant effort to invest in economic development. both in staff, you know, we have professional planning, zoning, building, licensing staff to streamline the process for a business to open, but we also invest in the infrastructure that's really important for businesses. And I think because of all this, we're seeing private investment follow our strengths. So I won't get into too much detail because I know there are other speakers that will, you know, get into more, but I want to highlight a couple projects that are really exciting for the city. So the Anderson Regional Transit Center, just on the other side of the train tracks here, our side of the train tracks, has put out an RFP for redevelopment. The results haven't come back yet, but we're really excited to see what might come from this property and how it will unlock future development, access to transit, access to the highway. So we're really keeping an eye on this transit-oriented opportunity. We also have the New Boston Street area where we're doing a lot of deep study, but we've already seen some investment. Cabot and Forbes has broken ground on 180,000 square foot manufacturing space. So if you just cross over the train tracks, you'll be able to see it under construction. But we're really excited for this project, and the type of tenant that will go into the space is exactly the type of tenant that we're targeting for this area. We've also seen a lot of housing growth. You know, in the last 5 years or so, we've brought over 1,500 units online. Most recently, we completed 425 units at Station 316, George's house there. And the City Council also recently rezoned a portion of the Vale development off of Montville Ave to allow for 504 units of 55+ housing. So we're seeing action already happen, but the city is also taking our own action to promote that growth. And so really, you know, we talked about private investment as economic development, but community development is economic development. And the city is aggressively investing in the infrastructure that both businesses and residents want in their city. You know, when a business comes here, they obviously want location and buildings, but they want public safety, they want schools, they want places for their employees to live and recreate. So we have been aggressively investing. We have a new fire station headquarters that opened a couple years ago and are currently building 2 new fire stations. We also are investing in our infrastructure. We're building right now a $22 million PFAS treatment center to elevate the quality of Woburn's water for residents and businesses. We also opened up a new City Hall Annex building to better serve residents and businesses for all their permitting needs. And we're in the process of starting the MSBA process for a potential combined middle school or elementary school in North Woburn. And transportation investment is also economic development. You know, we can build all we want, we can zone all we want, but if we don't have a way for people to get to work, then, you know, it's not really serving anyone. So again, we've been investing aggressively in transportation. There's a couple projects I'll highlight. Up here, we have in the west side of Woburn, along Route 3, we are in the Route 3 corridor after all. We're working with the state on a transportation improvement project to realign Bedford Street and Cambridge Road along with Burlington. And so that will really improve congestion in the area and will also make it a safer experience for those who take the bus or bike in the area. So I think this one's scheduled for next fall. It got a little bit delayed, but we're excited to see that project come along. We also have our downtown transportation improvement project. That's another TIP-funded project in partnership with the state and federal government. So right now it's about $20 million. And I don't know if any of you have ever driven like the inside-out backwards rotary that is Woburn Center, but that will be going away. It's going to be completely realigned, and there's going to be streetscape improvements throughout downtown, and that's scheduled for 2031. And it's a distance away, but we're really excited about like the type of economic development that an investment like that will bring downtown. We also were awarded a MassWorks grant to start the design of a potential pedestrian bridge. Like we've been alluding to, right now you can't get from one side of the tracks to the other. So we have about $500,000 to start the design of a pedestrian bridge that would collect the RTC right to New Boston Street. And our biggest infrastructure project right now, our most exciting, is probably the New Boston Street Bridge. So if you just take a right out of here and drive around Presidential, you'd run into the north side of the bridge, and there'd be no way to get over. But later this summer, we will be connecting both sides of New Boston Street. This is a $28 million, again, federal-state joint partnership on this. But the bridge burned down sometimes in the 1970s, and there's been no way to connect both ends. Essentially, our largest commercial corridor has been dead-ended on the south side of the bridge. So we're already seeing, investment from this with Station 316 and the Bolt, but we really think that once this opens, the area is going to take off. So with that in mind, the city undertook the New Boston Street Opportunity Analysis, where we had a grant-funded project and really did a deep dive into this area because we knew it was going to take off and we wanted to do it in a proactive way. Right now we have been responding to individual property owners, but we said, let's take a step back, let's put Woburn in the ready position, so when we see the types of projects that we want, we're ready to aggressively approve them. So the study did an infrastructure analysis, a marketing analysis, and a zoning analysis, and now we've got the study complete and we're moving into the implementation stage. So in the next few months, you'll be seeing some pretty exciting zoning changes down here to really help promote the type of business that we want to see. We don't want to be putting up hurdles or roadblocks. We want this to be a place for you to open business. And we're doing the same thing on a smaller scale in Woburn Center. Woburn Center is really, the heart of our downtown. But we wanted to make sure and ensure its viability for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So we undertook an area plan to, again, really do a visioning process with the community, business owners, property owners, and find out what people want to see downtown, and then do a look at our zoning, a look at our regulations, and understand why we aren't getting what we want. So that study's wrapping up right now, and again, we'll be seeing some exciting zoning changes, design guidelines, and other marketing opportunities for downtown. So we really think there's a lot of unlocked potential in this part of the city as well. Briefly, just some other quick initiatives we're working on. We're a mass development PACE designated community, so if a new project comes in, you're able to work with mass development to unlock certain credits for sustainability work. We also are a designated housing choice community, which just reflects Woburn's commitment to housing over the last 5 years. So that unlocks a lot of funding for us, and also, some increased opportunity for developers. We also are part of the digital equity program. We're a green community. We just completed a new housing production plan. We just completed a hazard mitigation plan. And we have an exciting 250th anniversary event coming up on June 13th, an extended Flag Day event. So if you go to our city website, you can learn all about that. But we're having an all-day event, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 250th anniversary celebration. So we hope some of you will come and join. And we're doing a lot, but we can't do it alone. We don't operate in a vacuum. So I just highlighted, a few of our key partners here. Obviously, Middlesex 3, Mass Development, MOBT really helps us with citing companies. The Woburn Chamber of Commerce is a really key partner for us, both on events and collaborating with new businesses that come into town. With Samantha, we partnered with Mass Hire on a couple job fairs to really promote our workforce. We're really involved with the Mass Innovation Network and do advertising with them every year. We sit on the board of the Revolutionary Valley Convention and Visitor Bureau and work with MAPC. So, we don't do any of this alone, and we really value all of our state and regional partners that help us all with the end goal, which is to make the region stronger, city by city, town by town. So that's all I have. I think if you want to scan this QR code, you can sign up for my monthly newsletter, which I think is very good. So a little self-promotion there, but please sign up for that. And just to conclude, we're focusing on taking today's momentum and creating long-term value for residents, businesses, and the region. So I appreciate all of your time. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Joe Tardy.
So Casey, you're a tough act to follow. I think we probably could end the program right now with what's happening in Woburn after your presentation. However, I'd like to review a couple of projects that are ongoing in Woburn right now. My name is Joe Tardy. I'm a partner in the law firm of Woburn and Rudman with offices in Unicorn Park and Woburn. And I've been representing clients before the city of Woburn for over 40 years. There are a number of developments, a couple that Casey has mentioned, that are underway or beginning the permitting process that I'd like to review with you. First is the Vale. After obtaining approval several years ago for over 1 million square feet of a life science campus, Leggett McCall fell victim to the decline in the life science industry and has entered into an agreement with Pulte Homes of New England to sell the remaining 33 acres of its property for a 504, 55 and over condominium development called the Del Webb, which is their high-end product. The permitting on that should be underway within the next 60 days. The second project I'd like to mention is Home Depot. This is another project that will begin permitting within the next 60 to 90 days at the Showcase Cinema site along 128. This site was previously under agreement with the Davis companies. After obtaining approval of a zoning amendment to allow for life sciences, again, as the life science industry declined, Davis walked away from this property. The last project I'd like to mention, Casey mentioned earlier, is the Cabot and Forbes project at 216 New Boston Street called The Bolt. I spoke with Jay Doherty yesterday, and foundation work is underway, and he expects by the summer that the steel frames for the building will be installed. The Bolt is a 180,000 square foot transit-oriented Center for Innovation along the New Boston Street corridor. So I'd like to just spend a couple of minutes on the permitting in Woburn. The permitting process in Woburn typically will take 4 to 6 months for a large commercial project, such as those that I've mentioned. It'll take less for smaller projects. As the mayor indicated, the city's looking for new commercial development to add to the commercial tax base. We're fortunate in the city in that we have a pro-business mayor, we have a pro-business city council, we have a pro-business planning board, and we have a pro-business redevelopment authority. So as the mayor indicated, it's an exciting time in Woburn right now. There's a lot going on with the proposed innovation district in the Woburn Industrial Park, major improvements to the downtown area, and as the mayor said, Woburn's a place to do your business, and hopefully this program will encourage further development in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Casey and Mayor. Definitely a lot going on in Woburn. I was saying to Casey earlier, we could have these quarterly because you guys have so much going on. So with that, and I know you guys have all mentioned a few people who are doing developments who are here as well too. I know Kevin and Forbes, I saw them on the list. There you go, I knew you guys were here. But there's certainly a number of other folks that we want to talk with afterwards. But right now, we want to get into some of the development and some of the real estate projects that are happening. So with that, I want to introduce Jennifer Kerrigan from KS Partners to start off the conversation, please. Continue the conversation.
I am Jen Kerrigan. I am the Director of Leasing for KS Partners, and we are a local commercial real estate owner. So we have about 5 million square feet in the area, mostly Massachusetts, but some in Connecticut as well. And we own and manage our properties. Woburn is one of the areas that we really believe in. This is where we chose to have our headquarters, and that really speaks to our belief in this area because we had a lot of options for that. But as the mayor has mentioned, being at 128, Route 3, Route 93, it is really the epicenter of the transportation, and it does provide us and our tenants the opportunity to really have access to the entire region. We do have properties throughout Middlesex 3, and definitely appreciate being part of the Middlesex 3 Coalition and Stephanie's support. And also, I did want to say thank you, Vina, for hosting this, because this is a beautiful space for it. But yes, we have a huge belief in this area, and we're excited to be part of it. Our office here in Woburn is 130 New Boston Street, and there is a lot happening, as you've heard from Casey and the mayor and everybody. There are a lot of projects that are happening there. We're excited to be a part of them. We lived through the construction of Woburn Village, and I have to say that it is such a refreshing thing to have so many businesses that have joined the area. It is something now that when I have business meetings, people want to come to Woburn because there are restaurants that they are interested in having lunch with me at, and so I don't have to go down to Boston all the time, which I personally appreciate. And then the last thing that I would say is that, this area, we agree with the mayor that this is up and coming. We do believe that there is a lot that is going to be progressing here. And I will turn this over to Mitch Kuman and then Mike Ogasapian from Savills and Lincoln, who are commercial real estate brokers in this area and who have a lot more information on the projects that are coming. So thank you, everyone.
Hey guys. So 3 months ago, I was touring facilities with a founder of a growing technology company. We started in Cambridge, we went to Somerville, we stopped in Watertown, and then by lunch we were in Woburn. And the founder leaned over to me and he said, "Mitch, why am I paying a premium just to tell people that we're in Cambridge?" And that question's coming up a lot, right? So another question we're getting is, where can we find the best combination of talent, accessibility, flexibility, and value? And Woburn increasingly is that answer. For those of you who don't know Savills, we're one of the largest commercial real estate advisors in the world. Here in the US, we strictly represent tenants and occupiers of real estate. So we're not, owning buildings, we don't lease property, lease space on behalf of landlords. But our job is to understand how companies are growing, hiring, innovating, and manufacturing, and then helping them make smarter real estate decisions. And so I'll go to the next slide here. When we look at tenant activity today, there are 3 trends that are driving interest in Woburn. First, value, right? Whether you're a VC-backed company or a large enterprise corporation, everyone's always looking at cost of capital and not overpaying for occupancy costs and business operations. So Woburn's a really good option for occupancy cost savings. The second is location. You've heard it before, you'll hear it again. We're right at the intersection of 93 and 95. Although that merge can kind of be a beating, right? I don't understand. Merging is a zipper. Joe knows what I'm talking about here. You go, then I go. You go, then I go. So I digress. But the third is evolution. And really, 10 years ago, I think a lot of people thought Woburn was really purely an office or industrial market, and that's really changed. It's become a much more rounded ecosystem. So from retail to restaurants to housing to hospitality, and then as you'll continue to hear, the innovation-focused development, the BOLT. And so it's really changed in the last decade, which is a great thing. And so historically, companies really thought that you had to go much further north or pay up for Cambridge rents, and that's just not the case anymore. For instance, a startup begins at an incubator in the inner suburbs. They go from 5 employees to 20 to 50, and that's where Woburn enters the conversation. At some point they're going to need a pilot manufacturing facility, assembly, and prototyping, or simply just more space that the urban core can't really economically support. And so, it's really become a solution between a combination of companies that are looking to innovate and also commercialize their facility and operation, and really has made a lot of the short lists for our client searches. So, it's no longer really the alternative to Cambridge. It's becoming the next chapter for meaningful growth. And so I wanted to keep this short. We've got Mike Ogasapian, the one and only, who's up next, and I'll hand it over to him.
Welcome. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I think the last time I was in this room, I was playing basketball. You guys did a great job, really. This place has come out great. Let's see if I make it work. There we go. So, for those that don't know me, my name is Mike Ogasapian. I'm with Lincoln Property Company. Grew up here in Woburn. I'm also a proud member of the Woburn Chamber of Commerce. And obviously part of the Middlesex 3 Coalition. But my day job is that I'm an office and industrial broker. And I'm new to Lincoln. I started here, probably in February, and spent 11 years in RW Homes Commercial Real Estate. See Dave Gilkey and Drew here from RW Homes. Thanks for coming out, guys. Anyway, so what I've spent the better part of my career doing is tracking the market for office and industrial real estate. And so, the question is, what's happening in Woburn? I'm going to stick with what I know and answer a little bit of questions about what the industrial stats look like for office and industrial. So a little bit about Lincoln. Here in Boston, we've got, 12 brokers and I think 170 folks that work here that work in property management, development, acquisitions, asset management, and then also we do a brokerage. So we sell lease commercial space to companies. That's what we do. So the Woburn industrial market, tracking this for the better part of my career, about 13.6 million square feet total supply. Beyond that, that's the market of the North Market. So if you boil it down, Woburn itself is about 5 million square feet of total supply. So 106 million of total supply in the North Market, 13.6 million here in Woburn. Woburn outperforms the rest of the North Market to the tune of about 7.2% of vacancy, and the entire North Market that we track of 100 million square feet, we're talking about 8.5% vacancy. So pretty tight industrial market for users right now. List of some of the largest users on this slide. 5 or 6 of these are owner users. They're not tenants. They don't pay rent. 2 of those tenants that are leasing space right now are paying rents that are in the single digits. Large tenants pay less than rent typically. It's hard to fill larger spaces, so when you have larger blocks, you get left with some vacancy that sticks a little bit longer. Woburn has outperformed the market, I think, because it's an infill market. Even though we have some large users here, we have a lot of users that are smaller militia. And when you've got larger spaces where you've got tenants that are probably not necessarily distributors or warehousers, they're probably going to be making something. As Mitch alluded to in his slides, a lot of the folks coming from Cambridge, Somerville, the ideas that are coming out, folks don't want to actually make it, they've got to look elsewhere. Right here in Woburn, we have the space for folks to do that. And that's really where Woburn has outperformed the rest of the North Market. It's really the gateway to the rest of the North Market, if you will. So that 106 million square feet of industrial space, that 13.6 million that's here in Woburn, That space is really necessary for folks that are trying to actually make it and grow to the next stage of their growth. So all those companies that are coming out of Cambridge, that are coming out of Boston, they're going north. That's just where the crow flies. And if you sat in traffic, you know north is the direction to go in. I'll get to a little bit more about the rental rate, average rental rate here, but it's the vacancy rate and the rental rate that you see on paper don't necessarily correlate. So I'll allude to that a little bit more on my next slide. Office market. Everybody knows that the office market has been getting kicked in the teeth. But here in Woburn, we've outperformed the rest of the market. So about a total of 5 million square feet here in Woburn, which is only about 10% of the entire supply, the entire north market, we outperform the rest of the north. So a 10% vacancy with the north market average is 18.6%. You've got something that's really special here because the rest of the state can't say that. The rest of the state really can't. It's amazing how much vacancy there is out there. So to be able to see reuse like this is something that's pretty impressive. So we look at the rest of the market, where you've got office on the whole looking at 18.6%. You've got 10.8% of vacancy here in Woburn. Obviously, a big dichotomy there, massive spread, but the industrial market, I think, is what's the most interesting. So Woburn supply at about 13 million square feet, only about 7.2% is vacant right now. There are only 2 large blocks that are available right now that are over 100,000 square feet. One is Ascendant that vacated over on Wildwood Ave, and the other is up and coming with COP vacating over on Commerce Way. Aside from that, you've got a pretty tight market here in Woburn. So for users, that essentially means that you're most likely going to find space that is going to come at a premium. If you look to the right, you see the rent growth that's gone up from 2016 to today. It's really fascinating to me how fast that's jumped. When I got into the industry, industrial was really not the golden child of real estate. And then all of a sudden, overnight, private equity figured out that, okay, we can pay a premium for these buildings. The vacancy rate is under 10%. Now rent's going up. So it's not necessarily caused by the vacancy rate. I mean, vacancy jumped up a little bit. It hasn't gone up. Certainly hasn't gone up 85.3%, or I should say gone down. So it's not necessarily a tighter market that has pushed rents to go north. But generally speaking, Woburn has a strong outlook. I think what everyone who came before me has spoken today has mentioned Casey, Mitch, you guys really hit the nail on the head, Joe, about where things are going and what developments are upcoming. So thank you everybody for your time. I appreciate it, and I'll pass the baton.
Thank you, Mike, Mitch, Jennifer, appreciate it. I think this is great to now lead into CI2 Cregen. And I'm going to ask you to come up in just a second, introduce your team. But the other thing I wanted to mention is we're going to send everybody who's registered the slides and all this information, as well as who's speaking and the contact information, so that you can follow up with them afterwards. But I think it's interesting what Mike was saying as far as companies coming up here, they're growing here. That's exactly what you guys are doing. So Andy, come on up, you tell more of the story.
Thank you, Stephanie, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Just along with everybody else, too, I'm just very excited to present. My name is Annie Chum. I am the VP Operations and Administration at C2I Accelerator, as well as Creation Inc. I would also like to introduce our executive team. Right in front here is our CEO and founder, Raj Rajur, and our senior accounting manager, Kriti Garg. So both Creagen and C2I Accelerator are Woburn-based companies that we play an important role in fostering life science innovation and entrepreneurship in the region. So C2I is 11 years old incubator, and we are one of the first amongst the many that in the earlier times that came out of Cambridge and Boston. We are the first in Woburn. So we provide fully furnished labs and office space along with instrumentations that the scientists would need to develop their experiments and all the supports in the resources that they need and require to operate in the lab space. So we serve startup companies that are spin-offs from Harvard, Tufts, and MIT, to name a few. And along with that, we built in a very unique model that we have an in-house CRO services that support them, whether they need just basic things of operations or on the scientific side. As we know, rent in Cambridge is very costly, and it makes it very difficult for startups to have a long runway. So we have so many companies that leave Cambridge and came to our incubators over the years and have told us many times over. So Woburn is an emerging next biotech hub, and we are very honored to be a part of it and just building the unique lab space and services that drive the innovation to the area. In addition, very much just the turnkey is that C2I's is cost-efficient, fully equipped lab space with state-of-the-art instruments, enable the startups to join a community with as little as one bench. It can be one person. And helping them to extend their runway, make them beyond what they could start out with bootstrap money, or some of them are from personal savings, and help them to achieve the key milestones and accelerate their growth. So these companies starts, like I mentioned, 1 to 2 people, but we have some companies that grow to 10 to 15 within a year or even 2. Some are even shorter, they fundraise so quickly and they grow out of our space much faster too. Companies like this grown more than 15 people would need larger facilities, so we work with our partners in the area that help support them. So some of the success stories of graduates who moved from our incubator go to the areas, facilities such as the 19th Residential Way, as well as other Cummings facilities too. So I want to introduce a little bit about Creagen. We are our very own building contract research organization. We provide preclinical services for organic chemistry synthesis, as well as bioanalytical screening. We are a 23-year-old CRO that was founded in Woburn in 2002. We provide services not only to our tenants, but to our biotechs and pharmaceuticals companies in the New England area. Not just New England, actually across the nations. So tenants don't have to go far. It's wonderful because they just need to be there, and we're there with them along the way. So the invaluable collaborations between tenants and CRO services help accelerate their programs much faster. They can connect with our CRO team, they're on site, the scientific team's on site, and get their data and feedback almost instantly. So they don't have to worry about when I'm gonna get my data, how long I'm gonna get my data. I don't know what's going on. So we're on site and we help them every step of the way. So as we, C2I and Creation are committed to building strong ecosystems for the tenants and the Woburn community, and contributing also to the local research workforce. We are proud to highlight, since inception, we have a total of 53 portfolio companies that have joined us, and collectively they raised about $742 million to date. And this is driven by their strategic corporate partners. We're passionate about supporting startups and helping them to grow, but we don't stop here. We're also partnering with Berger Holding, and they offer free medical stays for patients in Boston. If Woburn City is open to collaborate, we would love to talk. Thank you.
And I love how you are keeping the companies that are growing in Woburn. That's what it's all about, keeping them growing. And Andy, Raj, Kriti, thank you guys for all you do. One message for all of you is there are a lot of resources in this room to help your companies to grow in the region as well too. So the two of them are going to be speaking in just a second. So I'm going to hand it over to John Ross, who's going to talk a little bit about some of the resources for companies who are growing in the region.
Thanks, Stephanie. My name is John Ross, Senior Vice President of Business Development at Hub International. I want to thank Middlesex Coalition for giving us the opportunity to be up here, and thank you, Stephanie. I probably wouldn't be doing public speaking if you hadn't asked. So I do a lot of networking, go to a lot of events, and I'd say about 1 in 10 people I meet and know who Hub International is. I was up in Portland, Maine a few weeks ago, and everyone there thought I was worked at a furniture company. Apparently, there's a large furniture manufacturer called Hub up in Portland. But Hub is, where's the clicker for the? Hub is one of the largest insurance brokerages in the world. So we have over 20,000 employees, 570 offices spread across North America, and we handle over 2 million clients. When you're thinking of Hub, it's really 4 pillars to Hub. It's the risk and insurance, the employee benefits, retirement and private wealth, and the personal lines insurance. So what that means is if you're a business owner assessing your risk, maybe an HR leader working on the employee benefits, a CFO handling overseeing the company's 401k, or just your own personal lines insurance, we have the specialists and the teams to help with that. So while Hub is a large national organization, we operate regionally as Hub New England. We live and work in the communities we serve, and some of the organizations in this audience are probably clients of ours. So while we do handle all those different disciplines, my background is actually on the employee benefits side of things. Quick show of hands, who's seen large increases in their group health, in their health care? Right? Pretty much everybody. I don't need to ask that. It's in the news. It's far outpacing inflation. And what we see when we're talking, it doesn't matter if it's manufacturing, nonprofit, technology, municipality. A lot of companies are still looking at their health benefits in a way that they did 10 or 20 years ago. You get your renewal, you try to fight back against the large increase you got, and then you cross your fingers and wait again until next year. So at Hub, we do things a little bit more strategic. We do something called the Hub Performance Review. And with that, we sit down with the company and we're going to explore everything. Their technology, their compliance, their benefit strategy, any HR needs, etc. And then we're going to ask you to share a little bit of data, and then we're going to come back with a 2 to 3 year roadmap that's going to help business leaders make decisions. This plan is going to be yours to keep, no strings attached. We just hope you see the value in possibly having Hub implement those strategies. In Woburn, I happen to be lucky and fortunate enough to work directly with a company called Nanoramic. They're a startup in the battery technology space, fast growing, they're doing really well. And they had specific needs. They needed dry rooms, and they were looking at implementing them and building them, and the cost was very prohibitive. Woburn had that space for them, so it really worked out. So Jennifer, I think it was you who proposed the question to me about AI and how companies are adopting it and implementing it into their systems, and what's the risk associated with that, and how can insurance help mitigate that. One of the things I definitely love about working at Hub is the deep depth of our resources and the subject matter experts I get to work with. So Mike Underwood, one of my colleagues on the property and casualty side, Jennifer, will be happy to answer that question for you. That's kind of it for me. I'm happy to be a resource for the Middlesex region, and here if you need me. Thank you.
And one more speaker coming, Michelle Brooks. She's my transportation guru. I know it's tough going last, but she knows anything, everything about transportation. I know, Casey, you mentioned transportation earlier, and they've been doing some great things to get cars off the road. So Michelle Brooks is fantastic.
All right. Oh, we go this way. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Michelle Brooks, I'm the Director of Consulting at Transaction Associates. Transaction and Corporate Shuttles is the other part of our business. What's happening in Woburn? We are located in Woburn. We're really excited to be here. We're going to talk a little bit about the services that we offer, because whether you're located in Woburn or elsewhere, moving employees, moving people around is critical. We know that. We know there's traffic and transportation is always a huge issue, so that's where our work comes in. Our consulting business was formed in 1990. Our founder formed the business there. When I joined, we doubled in size. And since then, we've been growing consistently. We moved around to a few different locations in Waltham and settled here in Woburn, and we are really happy to be here. We spun off the shuttles division in 1995. We have about 100 vehicles. If you've not seen our vehicles around, now that I've shown them to you, you will now see them everywhere because they're all over the place. So that's all of us outside of our office in Woburn there, and our great location. No need to explain why Woburn is a great location for a transportation company. It's at a crossroads of some great highways. We have great access, excellent for us. In December of 2024, we were acquired by Beacon Mobility, so that really grew our reach considerably in a very quick amount of time, so now across 25 states. We also gained what I like to think of as some siblings here in Massachusetts, so Locomotion, NRT Transportation, and Vanpool. Now that I've showed you them, you'll see them everywhere as well. I drove by 2 vehicles on my way here this morning, and I can't say that I'd ever noticed them before. So really excited to be part of a much bigger company, and we're staying here in Woburn. So what are the things that we do, the services that we provide? Corporate shuttle services. So a lot of what we do are commuter routes, so we're lucky to have the commuter rail station here, but unless you are located within about a half mile of that station, it's not that useful to get people from the city out to here. So a lot of the work that we do is in first mile, last mile shuttles. So connecting people to transit, connecting campuses, connecting across hubs. Off-site parking locations, that's something that we really started to do pre-COVID, and we've been doing quite a bit. So that is, maybe we'll help someone find an off-site parking location and shuttle people into the city or out from the city. Co-ops and interns, that's some of the work that we're doing right now in the Middlesex 3 region. Northeastern University really wanted to get co-op students out into the Burlington area. So we started working with them on how can we provide transportation, because they don't all have their own corporate events. We just did that in the commencement. We're getting ready to help the Jimmy Fund move around 3,000 people on the day of that event, back and forth from the beginning to the end. So really experienced and all that kind of thing. And I mentioned park and ride lots a little bit already. Private charters as well, so if a day-to-day transportation isn't your need, but it's something that's needed occasionally, we can serve that need as well. And with our new partners, we can provide everything from a 14-passenger vehicle to a school bus or a 50-passenger coach bus. And on the consulting side of our business, so that's, that's sort of our shuttles piece. On the consulting side of our business, and the two sides really work hand in hand, our work is really around transportation demand management. So how can we move people more efficiently, and how can we more effectively use the transportation system that we have? So some of the programs that we offer are managed services. We will come on site to places and help set up commuter programs. We have a ride match platform that helps people plan their transportation. And TMA formation. So we work with Stephanie on the Middlesex 3 TMA, and that's a regional group that's focused on looking at transportation issues across the region and partnering together, because one company doing a shuttle is really expensive, but 2 or 3 or 4 sharing a shuttle makes it a lot more reasonable option. And that's a lot of the work that we do there. On the consulting services side of our business, we do analysis and reporting. Not sure if you need a shuttle or if you want to start a shuttle, but not exactly sure where it should go or how it would work or what a schedule would look like. We can help you plan for that. Commuter surveys, want to know what your employees are thinking or what your residents are thinking. We can help with that too, so that you can decide what programs make the most sense. And then regulatory compliance. So whether you are located in a place that has an ordinance that requires you to reduce the number of people that drive alone, or whether you're part of a statewide ordinance, or whether it's a mitigation commitment as part of a new development, we can help with that. We can help with coming up with what the plan looks like for you, and then we can help with the implementation as well. So who are our clients? Who hires us to kind of come in and do this work? Runs the gamut. Employers, property owners and developers, hospitals and universities, municipalities. Really anywhere where there are gaps in transportation, we can come in and help you plan for how that can be addressed, and then we can provide the services you need to move people around. And that's my 5 minutes.
You missed is you didn't give a shout out to Julie Quinn.
I'm sorry.
So Julie, thank you for all your work you've done. I just want to thank everyone. My goal here today is really to bring people together and highlight a little bit about what's the economic development happening in the region and some of the resources. And I think we did that. I mean, there was a lot of information. There's a lot going on in the area. It's a lot to digest, but hopefully the other goal is to really, for everyone to walk away learning something new, learning some new development projects, some new resources, and making some new connections. So if you haven't made any new connections yet, hopefully you will after we break here, and we still have coffee and some food as well too, so hopefully you can continue to connect with people here as well too. I do want to once again thank Northern Bank for hosting us today. They've been fabulous. Mina, thank you and your crew for all your work here. Thank you to our sponsors as well, to Market Square Architects, Transaction and Hub. And please take a few minutes and look at some of the exhibitors here as well too, and just make some new connections. What we're trying to do is really expand the community. We had an event in Woburn a little while ago where somebody said, look, I live in Woburn, I work in Woburn, I don't want to have to go to Boston to network. And I really took that to heart, and I think that there's value. And Woburn does a great job in a lot of different events. So we want to keep you guys here and connect and expand our community. So thank you again, everyone, for coming. And yeah, see you at the next event. I think it's coming up next week as well, too. But please, if you don't get our newsletter, sign up and we'll keep in touch.
Stephanie, I think we have a question here.
I can't. I always have to say something. So, as many of you know, I just moved last fall from Reading in a house, the horrendous move to an apartment, Station 316, part of this new development that Casey talked about. And I want to say that it's a great city to move to, and City Hall has been very helpful in a lot of things, because you know me, I will bring up issues. And they've been very responsive. Mike, Casey, everyone, thank you very much. And it is a good place. Woburn Village was not mentioned. but that's a great area where you can get a lot of food. So they become competitive to Burlington, I would say. So it's a nice competition. So I enjoy Woburn. Thank you.
Thank you, George. A lot of other vegetables, thank you. We'll have to do it again. There's a lot going on. So with that, unless there are any other questions, I'm going to wrap it up and give everyone a chance to get some more coffee and make some more connections. So, is there nothing? So thank you, everybody. Appreciate all your time.